What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the Bettor's Edge. We have a full slate of college football action, guys. I got a load of insight here for you guys. Before we get started, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Guys, let's get straight into the action. My play of the day, I want to bring it to you guys bright and early. This game is kicking off in less than 2.5 hours as I record this video. You have the LSU Tigers on the road at the Vanderbilt Commodores. Guys, let's make no bones about it. The Vanderbilt Commodores are going to win this game. This is a more balanced team. They're a better team offensively, defensively, when you put those two units together than the LSU Tigers are. LSU is coming into this game with a very stout defense, but offensively, Gus Nussmeier and that offense just haven't had it clicking this entire season. LSU this season has been very poor offensively, as I just talked about. They're a below average offensive team. They're very stout defensively. This is a game that is going to go down to the nitty gritty. It's going to be tight. It's not for the faint of heart. I'm not sitting here telling you guys that Vanderbilt is going to mop the floor with LSU. LSU is far too good defensively for that to happen. However, this is a game that Vanderbilt is going to end up winning. They've had 2 weeks to prepare for this game. This is probably the biggest home game for that school this entire season. That fan base, that stadium, even though it's an early kickoff, trust me when I tell you this, they're going to be ready for today's game. As I talked about already, they've had 2 weeks to prepare for it. This Vanderbilt offense, even though obviously not going up against LSU's offense, they're significantly better than what LSU can offer offensively. And when you're talking about this type of matchup, that Vanderbilt offense is going to do just enough to win this game and prevail with a victory. That Vanderbilt defense, as I talked about earlier, is just as good as they are offensively. And that's the reason why I like this game. That Vanderbilt defense is going to give LSU all they can handle. This game is probably going to come down to one moment or two moments over the course of the entire 4 quarters. But that Vanderbilt defense is going to give LSU's offense all they can handle. I wouldn't be surprised if that Vanderbilt defense is the unit that ends up winning this game. I don't typically do score predictions, but this is going to be a 24-20 type of game. The total is low. I think it's sitting somewhere around the neighborhood of 47. So you're not going to get a shootout here in Vanderbilt this afternoon. Both defenses are going to show up. Both defenses travel really, really well. As we know, most defenses travel really well. And you're not going to get a 31-30 type of game here. This is the play of the day, guys. In my opinion, this is the best game on the board, and there's a ton of good games today. But the best edge for the bettors this Saturday afternoon on the entire card is on the Vanderbilt Commodores money line, minus 120. Moving on to another game, another early game that I want to talk about very briefly. This is not a play. It's not even a lean. What I'm seeing is a lot of people talking about the Duke Blue Devils being one of their favorite plays for today. Tap the brakes on taking Duke minus 3. Georgia Tech is a much better coached football team than the Duke Blue Devils are. They make far less mistakes. Offensively, Georgia Tech is a powerhouse. Duke gives up a lot of points. This is the antithesis of the game that I just talked about. This game is going to have loads of points, loads of mistakes, loads of turnovers. It's going to be a roller coaster type of affair. This is not a game that's going to cash at halftime. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a team that goes up by double digits either way and ends up losing this type of game. What I'm telling you with this game here is stay away from laying 2.5 or 3 points with Duke. They have no business being favored by that many points. You would tell me, well, if they have no business being favored by that many points, why wouldn't you just take Georgia Tech? Because you don't know what you're going to get from Duke. If you get a Duke team that doesn't beat themselves, they could easily win this game and cover. However, we've seen far too many times this season where Duke beats themselves. They probably could have beaten Illinois at home probably about a month or so ago, whatever the case was. And they end up losing that game by 20-plus points because of all the mistakes and mental errors that this team makes. You can't trust this team not to beat themselves. Georgia Tech is not going to do that. If you get the best version of Duke today, which I don't think you're going to get, Duke will win this game. They've had a far stronger strength of schedule than Georgia Tech has played. But to bet on Duke to play flawless type of football, that's not going to happen. So I'm not predicting Georgia Tech to win. What I am telling you is this game could go either way, and it's not worth risking your money on. Let's get into my my third favorite game of the day. My second favorite game will be the last one that I talk about. My third favorite game is it's earlier on the card, which is why I'm getting to it first, is Georgia Bulldogs at home against Ole Miss. This is a very similar type of game to the one that I just talked about. You have the higher ranked team, higher as far as Ole Miss, 5, being underdogs to the lower ranked team. A lot of people look at these scenarios and they automatically say, I'm getting the better team plus a touchdown here because they're ranked higher. I'm going to take Ole Miss plus the points. Tap the brakes on that. Ole Miss is a fantastic football team. They're great offensively. They're very strong defensively. The problem that you have with Ole Miss is in these huge moments, in these huge spots, with Lane Kiffin, and even before Lane Kiffin got there, Ole Miss doesn't always give us the same level of performance week in and week out in these big moments. This is a team that probably should already have a loss on their schedule. They almost lost last week. They almost lost to Kentucky a few weeks ago. They skated by LSU at home. They are undefeated. I'm not going to take anything away from them. However, they're going up on the road against the most difficult opponent that they've played thus far this season. This is going to be a game in which the Georgia Bulldogs show up. You're going to get the best version of Kirby Smart and his defensive unit, and you're going to get the best version of Stockton and that offensive unit. This is going to be a game that comes down to wire. I'm not sitting here suggesting that Georgia is going to, blow the roof off of the joint and smoke Ole Miss. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am telling you is in this type of situation, in this spot, it's far easier to trust this Georgia team than it is that Ole Miss team. The third best bet on the board for today is the Georgia Bulldogs on the money line. I want to say you can get it right now for around minus 280. I'm going to tie the Georgia Bulldogs money line in with the very next play. Great segue to the Alabama Crimson Tide at home, laying 9.5 points against the Tennessee Volunteers. This game is a game where you don't have to think all that much. Alabama is just a significantly better football team than Tennessee. This one isn't even close. It's nowhere near as close as Ole Miss versus Georgia. Tennessee can put up points with anybody. That offense is as good as any offense in the country. But guess what? That defense is equally as bad. This Alabama team, offensively and defensively, is just too strong for Tennessee. They're going to be able to move the ball up and down the field at will. And we're really starting to see this Alabama defensive unit starting to take shape. I know I talked about Alabama's defensively a couple of weeks ago, giving me a little bit of concern. They put on a hell of a performance at Missouri last week. That Missouri offense is a strong offense. It's nowhere near as good as this Tennessee offense, but they shut down that Missouri offense basically over the course of the last 3.5 quarters. Missouri scored on their opening drive and basically did nothing thereafter for the entire game. I just think when you're looking at these two teams and Alabama is at home, I do have some reservations backing Kalen DeBoer. There's no question about that, especially laying 9.5. But when you're just looking at these two teams, Alabama, from a complementary football standpoint, offense, defense, special teams, they're far too balanced for Tennessee to come into Alabama and for Tennessee to win this game. This is the second best bet of the entire card. It's bigger than Georgia's bet. It's the Alabama Crimson Tide on the money line, minus 310. You can find it right now anywhere between minus 310 and minus 320. Alabama is going to win this game. There's no question in my mind that that's going to happen. I do have some concerns backing them at minus 9.5. I wouldn't be shocked whatsoever if they win this game by double digits and they cover the spread. However, I have concerns about their head coach. And I have some legitimate concerns on whether I feel confident enough to put my hard-earned money on backing them to lay minus 10. So what I'm doing is separating this into two separate bets. You have the play of the day on Vanderbilt, Commodores. Vanderbilt money line minus 120. That's the play of the day. Make no bones about it. That is the best bet on the entire board. It goes off early. Get your bets in quickly. We're going to cash that early afternoon. Second bet for the day, a one-unit bet, is Alabama on the money line minus 310, Georgia on the money line minus 280, parlay them two together. You can get that at around minus 125 if I'm not mistaken. Those are the two official plays for today, guys. This is a huge card of college football, jam-packed with action. The slate of games is incredible. It's very seldom we see a slate of college football games as good as this one. Enjoy your Saturday afternoon, guys. We are going to cash all three of these games with two different bets. We got to hit two different money lines to cash the second bet. And the play of the day is going to win early. Get these tickets in. Get that number as low as you can on the Vanderbilt money line. I'll catch you guys a little bit later. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'm going to give you some more winners tomorrow for NFL.